Hello everyone, and what a video we've got for you here. Welcome to the Winter 2025-26 NAO Forecast, brought to you from GavsWeatherVids. So here we go again. This is a yearly tradition, and this video tends to be one of the biggest videos that we do throughout the year. We're going to be looking at May sea surface temperature anomalies to try and predict and forecast the state of the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, for the coming winter. And I shall get on with your Winter 2025-26 NAO forecast in a moment. Just saying that first, a video today was our 6 a.m. UK weather forecast, and of course we're premiering this, so hello to everybody on the premiere with me right now. We're watching it together, and hopefully having a nice time. Hopefully I'm not sitting there on my own. That'd be embarrassing, wouldn't it? Just have myself on my own premiere. No, I'm sure we're all having a lovely time. So hello to everyone on the premiere. And just say we're going to be live discussing this NAO forecast at 6 p.m. this evening. So sunny lighting back for 1 week only this week. So we're going to be discussing this NAO forecast. We'll have a look at the chart data as well, of course. And there may be a special guest joining us at some point on the live stream as well. It's just going to be absolutely epic and awesome. So I can't wait. I'll see you all a little bit later on the premiere. Please give us a like on the video if you enjoy it on the NAO forecast. Share, subscribe, share it as far and wide as you can. Let people know what we're doing here at GavsWeatherVids with our work and with our content. I'm a little bit dolled up today. I thought that this NAO broadcast, because I'm normally sat here in wraps, you know, look like I'm being dragged through a hedge backwards, but I thought I'd doll myself up. I normally only dress up like this at Christmas, when I do a Christmas Day historic video, but I thought, why not? Why not put on a tie, put on a jacket, and, you know, get a bit dressed up, get a bit dolled up. So I hope you appreciate it. You don't see Gav in a suit very often. Right, thank you, Senator Ricardo. Senator Richard Trott for, the NAO forecast GIF, of course, and there'll be like a swingo, actually. Got a swingo coming up from Rich at the end of the video as well. All right, okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for all of the support. Okay, let's do this. So we're going to have a look first of all. We're going to explain what the NAO is, North Atlantic Oscillation. Actually, Richard's GIF here sums it up quite nicely. So when we're in a negative NAO, negative phase, negative mode of the North Atlantic Oscillation, we'll tend to see high pressure blocking within high latitudes. The Azores high will tend to get shunted off in that direction, and consequently we'll tend to set up low pressure like through the Azores towards Spain, Portugal and whatnot, and then that will leave like northern Europe. This particularly focused on America. That will leave like northern Europe. By the way, the NAO does work for America as well, so we'll have people watching this from America. If we have a negative NAO, for example, that could be a cold signal for both sides of the Atlantic. But like for northern Europe, for the UK and for Ireland, we tend to see colder, drier conditions and into North Atlantic as well. Conversely, a positive NAO mode looks like this. So we strengthen the Azores high through here and bridge it into there. We get low pressure developing in the Atlantic, and we strengthen the zonal westerly flow a little bit like that. And that's like the default setup, really. Most winters in the North Atlantic, due to our position in the world and various other factors, will deliver a positive phase of the NAO. The negative phase of the NAO in winter is like the exception to the rule. So let's have a look at some historic chart data. This one coming from the 6th of December, 1974. Beautiful example of a positive NAO, high pressure from the Azores to the Bay of Biscay, Spain, Portugal. Low pressure is up to north, and check where wind direction is coming from. So the air is originating all the way from the Azores, very mild on that particular day on the 6th of December 1974. And this is another great example. This is from February 2000. Again, see the Azores high ridging into the south and the southwest of Europe. At the same time, we've got plenty of low pressure in the North Atlantic, and up is coming that southwesterly wind. Both, both examples of a classic positive NAO phase there. This is the complete opposite. This is from the 7th of February 1969, and check this out. We've got high pressure bridging through the Atlantic going up towards Greenland, and a deep trough of low is sinking through northwest Europe. In between, we're drawing down a northerly flow, so cold and wintry. Therefore, in that example, not southwesterlies, but northerly, northeasterlies. And then this is like the ultimate negative NAO, really. This is from the December to remember in the year 2010. So again, we see that mid-Atlantic ridge, but going even further into Greenland, and the polar vortex is actually collapsing into northwest Europe, bringing down an extremely cold northerly wind. If we go on another day, check that one out. See this blue trough, basically, which is the polar vortex, sinking down. I'm virtually speechless. Sinking down through the Western Europe. It's not very often Gav's lost for words. But like that's about as extreme as it gets. That's extreme as it gets in terms of cold weather into northern and western Europe, with that intense Greenland high shoving out the polar vortex and sending it into West Europe. And what a bitterly cold, a wintry spell, and even up to Christmas that was. So they're the two phases of the NAO. Beautiful examples of them. They are. Now, where does May sea surface temperature anomalies fit in? Well, this is a UK Met Office theory and methodology. I think they still use it behind the scenes a little bit. So when we get a tripole, and I'll explain that in a moment, in the month of May, I'm not sure why they use the month of May, but basically it's when the Atlantic is at its most static, and it allows the Atlantic to revert to the most typical state, not impacted by the weather for that particular year. And the idea then is that that state will then re-emerge when we get through to the end of the year and into winter. Now, when we get a tripole in May, that can be a signal for a tripole to re-emerge, to come back, or to last through to the following winter. This is not a tripole. This is from the 15th of May 2015. See these blue colours up here towards Greenland, and down to western UK and Ireland, over towards Nova Scotia over here, and in the tropical Atlantic as well. Rather cold or coolish looking Atlantic there in May 2015. And that would lead us actually to predict a positive NAO for the subsequent coming winter. And this, again, it's from the year 2000. This is not a tripole either, so we're a bit cooler up here. We're pretty warm through here, and then we go a bit cooler again into the tropical Atlantic. So if anything, that might be like a reverse tripole, cool over warm over cool. What we're looking for a negative NAO, remember, negative NAO is unusual. It's not the default. The default is like positive southwesterly westerly positive NAO. So what we're looking for an unusual negative NAO in the month of May for the coming winter is a tripole. And this is from the 15th of May 2010. This is a great example of a tripole with warmer than average sea surface temperature on this from the south of Greenland, cooler than average from the eastern seaboard, through the Azores towards Spain and Bay of Biscay, and then crucially, significantly warmer than average again as we come down into the subtropical and tropical Atlantic. And of course, that is the classic warm over cool over warm tripole signature. If we get that in the month of May, then that leads us to predict potentially, not always, but potentially an increased chance of a negative NAO for the following winter. If we get a negative NAO, as we explained, then it's game on, for these interesting type weather patterns. This is another example of a tripole in the month of May. It's going a long way back, 1995. So the map is kind of different here in its projection, but basically it's still the same idea. Warm through there. And then look how cold it is off the east coast of America, going out into the central Atlantic. So it's slightly different. It's not quite warm over, cool over warm, but it's still the same idea. But we get the cold locked in there up the eastern seaboard of America, then out in Central Atlantic, and then we're warmer through there and through there. Again, that's a classic example of a tripole occurring in the month of May. And the following winter, of course, 95-96 was one of the few cold winters that we had in the 1990s and early 2000s. Right, so that is explain all of that. Now, what we got to do, of course, is have a look at the sea surface temperature on this event in the Atlantic for May 2025. We're going to start off right at the beginning of the month, on the 1st of May 2025, and what do you make of that? So, we can see that it's warmer through here, a little bit cooler through there, but also through there and through there, and then warmer through there. Bit messy and certainly not a tripole. Okay, we go through the 5th of May 2025. That's how we're looking. Again, warm through here. But not right really through there, bit warmer through there, cooler through there. Again, just doesn't look anywhere close to a tripole, that really. And then we go for the 10th of May, 2025. If anything, things are cooling a little bit in the central Atlantic. Warm through there, a little bit on the warm side down there, and warm through there as well. No, again, that is not a tripole, and it's not really close to a tripole, I would suggest. That's the 15th of May. Not much change. Cool through there and down to there. Warm through there. A little bit warm through there. Of course, very warm in the shallow waters close to the UK and Ireland and Western Europe. But again, we're not looking at anything that resembles really a tripole at that point. That's the 20th of May. So cooler intensifying through there. But still warm through here. So what's wrong with this? So like here, it's okay. Probably there, it's okay as well. But what's wrong with this is that this cool area needs to be there. The cool area needs to be there, and this warm area needs to be there, really. So it isn't a tripole that we got there, but we have got like a cooling in the central Atlantic. That's the 25th of May. 2025, cool through there, maybe trying to cool down a little bit through there, but this area isn't right really, and neither is that area just there. So that's okay, I guess, but overall it's not a tripole. And then we go through to the last day of May 2025, and that's how we're looking. So warm through there, cool through there. As we get towards month's end, maybe it starts to pick up a slight signature a little bit, but this area still needs to be warmer as well. It just doesn't look quite right. It isn't a tripole that we've got there. It is a cooler Atlantic than we've seen for a few years, actually. I think through that central portion of the Atlantic. But I've gone back through the archive to 1985. The closest match I can find, and no years like for like, you know, not very often anyway. Closest year I can find is actually the 15th of May. It was actually May 2022. So I think this is reasonably okay. Cool through there. Warmer down here. Warmer through there. Interesting, it's 2022 as well, because the summer pattern for Northern and West Europe is kind of resembling 2022 quite a bit. No, I think that is probably a relatively close match if we pull that to about there. So that's the 15th of May 2025. That is the 15th of May 2022. I don't think that's too bad. I mean, it's not like for like, never going to get a complete like for like, but I think that's about the closest that we've got in the archive. So 2025 and 2022, I think, are reasonably close there. Right, okay, so what do we make of all of that then? So I've gone through all of the analysis. Let's just have a quick chat about the forecast then. It's time to deliver the forecast. It's crunch time, if you like. Okay, so we've established that we've got a cooler, a central Atlantic than we've had for a few years. We don't have a tripole. What do we make of that? I think that is pushing us towards a positive NAO, actually a positive NAO forecast for the winter of 2025-26. So this is what GavsWeatherVids is going to be predicting. I think we're forecasting a weak to moderate positive NAO for the winter of 2025-2026, which increases the chance that the coming winter will be a milder winter, a more Atlantic-driven westerly winter, possibly a stormier winter as well. That's to be determined. It could be mild and dry. It could be, stormy, wet and windy winter. That's all to be worked out when we start winter updates in September. But the starting point, and maybe this is just the starting point, just like the first step on the journey, as we say every year from Star Wars, every journey has a first step, every saga has a beginning. This is just our first step, and on the journey to next winter. So as a base camp, we're favouring, I think, based on those sea surface temperatures, which would probably be a bit disappointing for some of you, but, we had to call it as we see it. We're favouring a positive, hold on. So everyone favouring a weak to moderate positive NAO for winter of 2025-26, which increases, but doesn't guarantee, the chance of a milder Atlantic-driven west or southwest wind. I said that Richard Shaw has done a swingo for us, so here it is. This is the winter 2025-26 NAO forecast swingometer, showing that the swingometer is pushing into the positive camp there. Not strongly so, but certainly weak to moderate, in that sort of ballpark. There's a margin of error, so that could end up as a neutral, borderline positive NAO. Of course, it could go the other way and finish up a strongly positive NAO. Again, that is something that would be to be determined as we get through the winter updates. And of course, we might get something unexpected happen. We end up with the NAO going off in that direction. We end up with a cold, a cold winter with a negative NAO. So we're just going to have to wait and see how it works out. But I think that's where the data has taken us this year, towards a positive North Atlantic oscillation for the winter of 2025-26, and we shall wait and see, what happens when we start doing the winter updates. And they're going to begin when we get into the beginning of September. So not long to go now. It's not long to go now until we get ourselves into winter updates time and season. And I'm looking forward to starting mode. But we've got the rest of the stuff to get through, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Right, okay, well, that's it then. That is your winter 2025-26 NAO forecast. As I say, this is always a special video, special day when we release these at GavsWeatherVids. So if you've enjoyed the video, despite the fact that the forecast may not be what you're hoping for, then please give us a like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And we will be beginning the countdown. We have begun the countdown to winter 25-26, and we will pick this up when we get into September with the winter 25-26 updates. Thank you so much to Richard Shaw for all of the gifts there, for the gift, and also, of course, for the swingometer. The swingometer will be back when we do winter updates again this year. We couldn't be without that. Thanks so much to hashtag TGAL, Shryan, and also Terry Sculling as well. And thanks so much to the UK Met Office, who explained this to us. Was it last year or the year before? I forget. My memory gets ever worse as I get older. But we did have an explanation that we had from the UK Met that we included in an NAO forecast recently about why it is May sea surface temperature anomalies. I think that was last year. If it wasn't last year, but it was the year before. Right, so thanks so much to UK Met. Thanks so much to Richard. Thanks so much to Shryan. Thanks so much to hashtag TGAL. Thank you so much to all of you for watching. I hope you had a lovely time on the premiere. So hello and goodbye. Hello, goodbye. Goodbye, hello. Hello, goodbye. Hello and goodbye to all of you on the premiere. And I shall see you all a little bit later on, hopefully, for our live stream. We're live for 1 week only on a Sunday evening. So Gaz got his Sunday live stream back for 1 week this week. and I shall see you hopefully at 6 p.m. and we'll perhaps have a chat about this NAO forecast, and of course we'll go through some chart data and whatnot as well. Unbelievable. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll end it there then. So, again, we're going to pick this up at the beginning of September when we do our winter updates. We start our winter updates. But now we're going to enjoy the rest of the summer, hopefully. And we'll reconvene. I'll see you all in September. That was a song, wasn't it? See it with a kiss, wasn't it? I don't know. Mrs. People to know, man. Anyway, never mind about that. Let's end it there. Enjoy the rest of the summer. We'll see you in September for winter updates. So this from us all for now. And thanks for watching.